Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Many members of Parliament in the House of Representatives adorn their front windows next to their doors with all manner of posters. Some propaganda, some deride the other side of politics, some are promotional material for their own electorates. And if you walk down the corridors, you'll see some members, Liberals, who put up a blue poster with the words Liberals for Regional Australia. And it's exactly the same font, in exactly the same fashion that the National Party has long had our material printed in. And the reason I say this, rather cheekily, is that my predecessor, Kay Hull, AO, she always considered that the late Gary Nairn was some sort of nat, a closet National Party member, because he was so very much in tune and aligned with the issues and feelings and concerns of regional Australia. That's not to say that Liberals aren't. They indeed are, and we know that. And Kay served with Gary Nairn for some time. And as such, I reached out to Kay the other day to ask her to express her feelings about the late Gary Nairn. And she had this to say. It was a huge shock when, at 9 p.m. on the 1st of June, I received a message that Gary had passed away a few hours before. I had the privilege of serving with Gary from 1998 to 2007, when he lost the bellwether seat of Eden Monaro that he had held through enormous dedication and commitment since 1996. He was a shining example of a true gentleman who treated everyone with respect and value. We were quite close, as his beloved Kerry, who sadly passed away in 2005, was a Leeton girl. Gary attended every National Party Christmas party with me, often claiming he was really a true National. And she's emphasised that with a couple of exclamation marks. I was so happy when he married Rose, and together they took on enormous family responsibility. And I love this, her last line. Gary Nairn epitomised what we all aspire to be. That is a decent, respectful individual, a great loss to his beautiful family and to our entire nation. Lovely words. Beautiful words. Typical Kay Hull words. And Gary Nairn was an AO. He was awarded that high honour on a similar level with Kay Hull, because both of them, Deputy Speaker, both of them contributed mightily after their parliamentary careers were over. And as Kay pointed out, the late Gary Nairn was elected to the House of Representatives in 1996. He was re-elected in 1998, 2001 and 2004. He came into the Parliament with Kay, or Kay came into the Parliament with Gary, pardon me, in 1998. And they were good mates, as Gary was very close to many National Party members and, of course, his own Liberal Party family. And not only do I express my condolences for his widow, I also express them for their children, Ben and Deborah. When the drought, the last drought, was at its worst, I was the Deputy Prime Minister. Scott Morrison was the Prime Minister, the former member for Cook. And on the eve of the National Drought Summit, Scott and I visited Maloon Creek near Canberra. It runs through the southern tablelands near Bungendore, 50 kilometres or so east of here, east of Canberra. Maloon Creek had been recently promoted on the ABC's Australian Story, and those Australian stories are so insightful. And we went to see a creek that was still flowing, the despite the drought, green with vegetation in spite of the drought, which had been going for 7 months, I might add. And Maloon Creek was the legacy of a very long collaboration between prominent agriculturalist Peter Andrews, the owner of the property, Tony Coote, who had died that August 2018. And for decades, they, Andrews and Mr Andrews and Mr Coote, had implemented the natural sequence farming system that Mr Andrews was so fond of at Maloon Creek. And I say all this because Gary Nairn, continuing on his fine public service, was the chairman of the Maloon Institute. He was giving back, and that is a powerful legacy when a member of parliament, having done their utmost to serve their local communities, to represent the interests of local people in this place, can then, after their parliamentary careers, continue to give, continue to contribute, continue to turn up, continue to advocate fiercely and passionately and proudly on behalf of local people. And that was Gary Nairn. That is Kay Hull. And I pay tribute to his record of service. I pay tribute to him. He very much welcomed both Scott Morrison and I on that day. He declared that the Maloon Creek was a model that should be replicated across the nation, and of course now as the parliamentary friends with the member for Paterson, co-chairs of the Parliamentary Friends of Soil and Soil Health, we know firsthand that the answer to climate action is in the very dirt that we stand on. We can do so much. Gary knew that. He identified that. He was a fine regional member, an outstanding human being, a friend to all, and will be very greatly missed, not just by his family, but by those who knew him, all of those who knew him. Vale, Gary Nairn.
And I thank the member for Riverina for his contribution.